Bears fans, what's up? Kevin Kaduk, Greg Braggs Jr., Ben Johnson, press conference just got over. We have 3 takeaways, and later we're going to have the big mega show. We've got Adam, we've got Carm, we've got Patrick up at Hallis Hall. They're getting plenty of sound, not only from Ben Johnson, but from Ryan Poles, Kevin Warren, and George McCaskey. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Come back at 3 o'clock for that. But, Greg, I wanted to get into it.
Yep.
What were your 3 takeaways from this press conference?
Well, number one, my instant reaction is the authenticity. This wasn't rhetoric today. He had answers. And sometimes when you hear the coach speak and the, euphemisms and the acronyms, but he didn't have that. And, when you talk about the way he entered Hallis Hall yesterday, speaking to the Hallis Hall employees, he commanded that room. And then once again here today, the way it's the little things, but just directly looking at someone, being thoughtful and insightful with your answers, being direct, and have an understanding of what they're asking and giving that answer. So I was really impressed by like I said, the authenticity and just the directness of it and no rhetoric.
Like you said, we had questions. Can he command a room? I think that went out the window in the first minute he was out there talking. Comes in there in the orange power tie. He's looking at people. He's giving great answers, real thoughtful answers. So to me, I felt like completely put at ease.
Right, because this isn't just about commanding a locker room. This is about commanding Hallis Hall. Yeah. And this has been a problem within this organization that some coaches let Hallis Hall and Lake Forest overwhelm them and overtake them for what their true identity is. And then they become a lesser version of what they were when they walked in that door. Absolutely. So I felt like he's commanding that room. And, for the second impression, when we go into what I thought of his thoughts with Caleb Williams, but I'm going to start with his directness to Caleb Williams. He was asked about Caleb.
Caleb was there, by the way.
Caleb was there, Cole Kmet, DJ Moore, and he looked right at Caleb Williams and said, I'm excited to work with you, but this isn't just about you. And that's what I mean when that's direct. That's not rhetoric. And so for me, when you talk about commanding a room, he just told his quarterback, look, I'm the boss and I'm in charge of 53 guys, not just you. And that's really, really important.
And we got a sense of what his approach is going to be. He's not trying to replicate the Detroit Lions offense here in Chicago.
100%.
He said we're tearing it down to the studs, and we are building it back up. We are looking at the personnel here. We don't have Jahmyr Gibbs. We don't have Amon St. Brown. We have Caleb Williams. Whoever else sticks around. They're going to build up from that. So to me, I really enjoyed that. He had a quote that you really
and I loved it. And I want to make sure I got it right because John Shoup, of Bears yesteryear, is one of the people that he looks up to when it comes to building an offense. And he said, to your point, it's not going to look like it did in Detroit. And that's key. He understands that the personnel here is different. The quarterback plays differently than Jared Goff. So he's going to morph his offense, and that was always the thing that Brian Baldinger and so many analysts ever said is how he adapts week to week to what the defenses are showing him. But now he's talking about adapting an offense to the personnel that he personally has, and with Caleb Williams understanding that and saying the same things look different and different things look the same. That was a peek behind the curtain of his philosophy of how he approaches building an offensive play calling sheet and a offensive system, and then how he's going to attack a defense. So I like that. And then the final thing with Caleb.
He wasn't afraid to say, Caleb, you had an up and down year. I didn't say that directly, but Caleb had an up and down year like many rookie quarterbacks. He also said, we have a lot of things to work on. We are going to be spending a lot of time together. And to me, what stood out there is, I think, in Hard Knocks, we kind of saw Flus and Caleb having those moments, and it just never looked like it didn't look natural. Obviously, it was a defensive guy and a rookie quarterback, and it just didn't ever seem like it was going to work, right? This almost kind of seems like Master and Jedi sort of thing. So 100%. That gets me excited.
Well, and he also said another thing. The quarterback has to see the game through the play caller's eyes. And so that's him saying, look, I'm not trying to – you got to figure it out on my level, Caleb. I'm – like you said, I'm the master Jedi. you're the learner, right? You're the Jedi in training. Right. So that's to me commanding the room. Now you're commanding the quarterback and being direct about these are the things we're going to fix. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited for that as well.
Third thing.
For me, like I said, it's one of those things where you talk about how just overall the authenticity, and that's my final thought with this. I thought when you talk about winning the day, winning the press conference, I thought Ben Johnson won today by showing a plan and saying this is how we're going to attack it, and looking at the players in the eyes, looking at the media members in the eyes, and even having some moments of levity, talking about the fumble Ruski and saying, no, that wasn't an audition because every day I go out there is an audition. And that's how the players approach the game. The tape never lies, right? So you have an opportunity every day to show the league what you're all about. So for me, this is the first step in the right direction of this becoming a football serious organization. Got a long way to go.
I loved it. He came in and said, this place is a sleeping giant. He gets it because there is no bigger sleeping giant in professional sports than a team that started the NFL but is going on 40 years without a Super Bowl. And he sees the passion of the fans. He talked about he takes his family to Wrigley Field every year and sitting in Wrigley Field and understanding what Chicago sports fans. Now, was he kind of laying on thick for us? Sure. I bought into it.
Can we get him to the Friday 120 Club?
Let's
Maybe.
Do it. He'll be out there saying Green Bay sucks.
But Green Bay sucks. But you're right. The value he had in the city, how he said how special it was when he walks into Hallis Hall. Mm-hmm. Again, those are things you're going to hear from every coach. But more importantly, this roster is loaded, was another thing he said. And this place is a sleeping giant. So that's exciting, and his idea is to win now. So how he does that within his vision, we're going to have to try to have some patience, but the coach certainly thinks, hey, I can get this going fairly quickly.
Yeah, so I won't be on the 3 o'clock show with you guys. You guys are going to do a great job. The one thing I would have asked, he said Dan Campbell was a unicorn. I want to know, is like, who does he think the unicorn is here? So maybe you guys can address that on the 3 o'clock special. CHGO Bears, full show, lots of sound, lots of reaction. We haven't even heard from Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren and George McCaskey yet, so we'll bring you that. Hit that subscribe button. I'm Kevin Kaduk. That's Greg Braggs Jr. New era for the Bears. Let's go.
We all silly like the mayor.